Alright, man, we back, bro. I want to speak on something right quick. Where can I start this? Alright, what I realized when I woke up last year, when I had my awakening, right? The first thing I did, like, I was in meditation, and what I could say is, in my meditation, I forgot, well, actually, I do remember what meditation I did. It was like a shifting realities type meditation I did. So in that process of doing that meditation specifically, that frequency shifting realities type meditation, what it honestly did was made me reflect on every situation I have ever been in my life, good or bad. You know how in a movie when your life flashes before your eyes type deal? It was sort of like that. After I got through with that meditation, the first thing I did is I woke up, right? I opened my eyes and then I got up out of bed. This was before I started filming my videos on my own. You can go through my channel and see where I started. You know what I'm saying? You can kind of see where it began, even leading up to when I started doing these things on my own, right? When I just knew that in this process I really couldn't even explain or tell anybody what I was doing, but all I knew is when I woke up, right, the first thing I did was something told me to go to my closet. And as soon as I went to my closet, I saw my tripod in my closet, and I was like, dang, I haven't used that thing in a while. And then it just started clicking in my head, certain old music videos, stuff like that. And I started going back and looking at my older videos that I did, certain music videos I did. And then everything just started clicking. Spiritual birth. Everything started clicking. I'm talking about, I was like, oh. And then in that process, what you see when you have a spiritual awakening and stuff like that, depending on the level and intensity of the spiritual awakening that you have, I was seeing I saw flashes of light. Wherever there was a light at, I saw flashes of light. You see how my videos are set up and how I do my videos? There were literally flashes of light in my video. And through this process, what I realized is I always knew this, but now I feel like I can explain it more. In connecting with the earth, getting grounded, taking off my socks and letting my feet touch the ground, barefoot, touching the ground, and just connecting more with the earth, it made me realize how much earth is a school through this process. So not only that I had to face people looking at me crazy through this process and wondering what in the world you doing? Some people already knew what I was doing because they knew that part of me, you know what I'm saying? But I was real serious because it was a serious situation. See, when it comes to being love and light, right, the moment that you get serious and you're really serious about what you're talking about and you're serious about what you saw, the moment that you stand on business, the moment that you actually are serious about what you're talking about and you're passionate about what you're talking about, because you can't unsee what you already saw, right? But the moment that somebody play with your spirituality and you get serious about it and you're not naive no more, you're not just always funny, goofy, and you're not the naive version of you no more, and you transform. Oh, people want to call you crazy because you're standing on business. People want to call you crazy because they don't have that understanding of exactly what was going on. And in this process, it was real, when I say the painful part to it was the fact that I know y'all, for the people in my town, there's a church that had this thing called Judgment Day, right? In the process of me going through my spiritual awakening and realizing that I did have these gifts that I had, the Judgment Day thing that they have at that church, it was literally a small time period that happening to me, but on a spiritual level, in a real sense, there was a voice in my mind. I don't know if somebody, that was back when I didn't really know too much about people doing spell work and throwing magic and doing stuff like that and doing suicide spells and stuff like that. There was a voice telling me to off myself, like, because I was like in like a dark time during my spiritual awakening. Like when I woke up, that's why I said it was painful, because it was like an attack on my insecurity. It was like an attack on my insecurity. It's hard to explain it, honestly, because it was a situation where I knew that I was being attacked because I'm going through the awakening, like I'm going through it. That's that part where they want you stuck at. It was almost like I was literally fighting demons in like real life, and I had to go back to school in this process to like face my demons, literally, like face every insecurity I ever had. Any time I felt scared to do something, felt insecure to do something, or felt like I wasn't good enough, or felt like just all the negative thoughts, I had to overcome those negative thoughts. Like I had to literally build my mind up and make it stronger and make it impenetrable from negative thoughts telling me to do stuff that I was not even, like, that's not even me. You feel me? It was another person's energy trying to make me fold, right? And I knew that, and I was like, God's on my side. I'm not gonna fold. Like, I'm not gonna fold. I know who I am. You know what I'm saying? And it was a thing where this is like the process I had to go through. It was like, it's school. Like, Earth is a school. You know what I'm saying? And we have life lessons, life experiences. You feel me? And I knew that deep down. Now watch this. In my Right or Wrong video I did by Jay Rashad, that's where my the daycare that I went to when I was basically a child, like a literal child, daycare. Guess what's there now? A psychiatric place now, right? That's specific to like my situation, on what I felt like. It's like if I didn't overcome what I overcame, I knew that was gonna happen. And this is the reason why I wanted to speak on what I speak on, because there is people out here that actually have gifts like me that can intuitively pick up on certain things. You know, super empaths, people that actually have these gifts, and they want to deem them as like schizophrenic and stuff like that, and give them drugs and all this other stuff. You feel me? Anybody that is going through that, or has went through that, or is currently going through that. But I'm just saying, there's a change that does need to be made when it comes to people that have these gifts. You feel me? But this was like my first level of understanding when it came to this. Like, this is the first level, you know, like the first level. And then elementary school. In this process, it was like I had to remember part of myself. Like, I had to remember every part of myself. It's like I had to go around and like pick up the pieces of me and put them back together. And throughout the process, I was being also creative with the process, because I also had to learn how to have fun. It was like me tapping into my inner child to be imaginative and create, while healing from childhood wounds and insecurities that I had from even stems from childhood. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's real, okay? Check this out. Boom. Elementary school. Not only that, boom. That's the middle school. That's the middle school right there. And then right in here, there was an English teacher named Miss Morris, right? Now check this out. Middle school, the windows that I showed you, that's where her class was at. That's where her class was at. If you look out the window, it's basically almost like I was looking at myself in the classroom, looking out at myself. It was like the most craziest experience. It was like the craziest experience, because it felt like that. It almost felt like I was looking at myself outside of the window, and also doing what I was doing. It's really hard to explain, but it was almost like I had to look at myself in that type of sense. She's a retired teacher now, but this is her and her husband's pottery place, and I did a video there. I didn't know they even owned a pottery place, whatever. I didn't even know they owned a pottery place. That's what tripped me out. When you think about like DNA stuff like that. It was like I was drawn to her based on my experience of what I was going through. Boom, middle school gym. You feel me? I had a lot of experiences, you know, in that gym. You feel me? There's a lot of experiences, a lot of fun times, a lot of bad times. You feel me? You remember when I talked about Coach Green, right? And how she used to call me Franklin. She was the middle school gym coach. You feel me? Around this time. So like, and then I got on my Ninja Turtle hoodie. You feel me? Like, that's crazy. I'm just now realizing that. All right, and then you got boom. This is the middle school break area. This is what this was, the middle school break area. And what you see back there is a catwalk. That's what they called it. They called it a catwalk. Boom. This is like the front, like the very like front of the middle school gym. This is like the front area, like where they, if you look through the window, that's where they like used to serve snacks and drinks. It was like, you know, the stand, you know, the snack stand, whatever. Can't remember exactly what it's called right now, but y'all know what I'm talking about. But not only that, I used to be in middle school. I was in the spring show. It was called a spring show. We used to rehearse. We was rehearsing and doing our dances that we had to learn when it comes to like the High School Musical and stuff like that. We did the song Jump In the middle school spring show. We did the Jump In song. This song right here, Jump In with Corbin Bleu and stuff like that. And inside the window, that's where we practiced at. It's like, it's kind of like a small area, but it's not too small where enough people can practice at, you know. That's what's specific to that situation, you know. High school. Had a lot of good times, had a lot of bad times. You know what I'm saying? It was almost like I had to face like these memories that I had. Like memories that I had, like sort of trauma, because I was the extra sensitive type to certain things. And I was like, man, I don't want to have to think about these things, but it's like it's almost like I had to deal with it on a different level. I wouldn't necessarily call it demons, but it's just like more, I'm gonna call them like I would call it like the spirit of insecurity or something like that. I'd rather call it like that, like something that just eats you on your side, and you feel like how can I explain it? It's almost like you want to accomplish something. You don't necessarily know what it is, but like as you keep going, you start to kind of like realize what's going on and what you had to go through. And just so you can explain it later, just like how like I'm explaining it right now. As I said, if it don't click now, it will click later. It's like this specific area, this was where we had break too. This is specific to the situation because not only while I was dancing, it's a lot of things that was like going through my head in the process of going to these places, and just memories kind of like popping up that is almost like I had to fight through. People just, you know, just what I would say, shitting on you. You feel me? It felt like that. You got this is the band area, right? This is the high school band area, right? And I also have a homeboy with this same name in the background, Jerry Bobo, okay? And I used to have somebody I used to go with that was in the band too when I was in high school, you know what I'm saying? She was in band also. So it's like, it was a lot of things, it's like, it was just a lot of things I had to move through, or I was never gonna let it go. You feel me? It was almost like it's like I had to face something, because at the end of the day, it's like I didn't want to look back at like my own life and felt like I didn't do what I really wanted to do. You feel me? Or do like something creative using my resources in the area that I lived in. You feel me? Like I didn't want to look back and be like, dang, I should have did that. I should have, like, the thoughts in my head, I was like, I didn't want to be like, man, I should have did that. And I'm like 50, 60 years old. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to do that. So I was like, man, we got to get on this now. And through the process, that was like part of the spiritual awakening, like part of the process. It was just crazy, because I know people was looking at me wild, but I didn't really care because it was bigger than what they were thinking. Okay, all right, what is this? Part of the process, the vocational school. This is actually where my granddad went to school at, right? And also, I took a welding class here, and I went to summer school here at one point. And people I remember like grouping up with, and it's a long process because we're all connected, but I always felt like out of place in sorts because the way I thought about things. The way I thought about things was just like kind of like on a different level of thinking and the process of it. You feel me? And I know people didn't understand what I was going through at the time I was doing it. It's something, you know how like everybody's an individual and everybody has to deal with their own trauma, and everybody heals in their own way. I was like, it's the same thing with me. That's why I can't really judge nobody for what they do or what they have done. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to my well-being and who I am as a person, I feel like I really do deserve the credit for everything I have did. Like, nobody can say that I helped him do that. You feel me? Like, because it was something else that I was fighting that was way bigger than any individual person could really like wrap their head around. Not unless you have experienced the same things that I have seen. This is the inside. And this was part of the process, you feel me? I'm just showing, and you see how I'm going through the videos? This is literally like my life in a row, but there's stories behind these things. Well, this is not the exact school bus we took, but we took a school bus from the high school to the vocational school. That's where I took my welding class at. So there was like a bus that took us to the vocational school. You understand? Just watch how it worked now. And this is the field that we graduated on. This is where we had our graduation at. You feel me? So, and then pay attention. What do usually you do at graduation, you know what I'm saying, after everything's done? You throw a cap up, right? You feel me? And after we graduated, this was like a surprise thing that happened whenever we was walking out. Now, as we were walking out of these doors right in here, like this little area is like you walk down and then boom, right in here, there was a limo sitting outside of this white wall. Like it's like a little door. Y'all can't really see it, but it's like an opening. You walk out of here, and then in this area there was like a limo waiting on me after graduation. And then all my like friends from high school, we all got in there and we went to the civic center, whatever, college. This is the college that I went to whenever I graduated high school and everything. And then after that summer, I decided to like enroll in college and then go to work. You feel me? And then there's a bear right here. You understand? Unwritten. And that was 5 months ago. This process was wild. It was wild. And when I say we're gonna zoom back in on the Judgment Day thing, to be honest, I feel like that was a process that was like almost like fear mongering for like the kids that have like actual psychic gifts and very intuitive and stuff like that. I feel like that was to scare them into not even being aware of that. But in my process, it kind of backfired, because it's like I always knew deep down inside that something was different about me, and I could not let it go, and I wasn't gonna let it go. But through the process of this situation, I could say that nobody can really take credit for what I have experienced when it comes to what I had to go through in this situation. As I said, it's like I had to go through each level and pick the pieces back up and like face different things. It's like I was literally fighting in real life, like spiritually fighting my own thoughts in real life. And it's like I'm good now because it's like I gained my confidence back. I gained my like whole being back. And it's still it's still like it's a process like of healing. You never stop healing. You never stop going through like life experiences, life lessons. It's always something new. It's always something you need to work on. It's always just something. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's infinite wisdom and infinite knowledge when it comes to the world, when it comes to the earth. You understand? It's always going to be something that you're going to learn every day. Either about yourself or about somebody else. You know? And I was just glad to show y'all, like, this is exactly what I went through. Stage by stage by stage, you know what I'm saying? Like, and like looking at this video right here, like this video right here was like, Tej was like, this is Tej. Tej was like the little kid version of me in like back in like elementary school. So it was kind of cool in the process because it was just wild. I'm finna go ahead and close it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm finna go ahead and close this out. I'm glad that y'all was here to watch me talk about this, you know what I'm saying? See, I don't care what anybody else think. I'm telling you about my life, and I'm also like helping y'all like figure out like why, you know what I'm saying? The why of things. But at the end of the day, this is the best way I could explain it. This is the best way I could explain it. So I just want to say, like, I love y'all, man. I rock with y'all. I hope y'all rock with me. And see y'all in the next one. Wee! Oh.